Today, Urza is assembling the Titans in this Planeswalker Tribal Abzan deck. I am extremely excited to show you my build around for this brand new card out of Dominaria United. Urza assembles the Titans. Let's take a quick look at this Thoughtseize, and then I'll start explaining the deck. So it looks like we're going up against a Spirits deck. We see a lot of Rattle Change. I think tossing a Curious Obsession early is very good, but we are using this new enchantment saga that you can read ahead. So this card can find Planeswalkers. This card can play Planeswalkers for free, and this card allows you to activate those Planeswalkers twice in the same turn. So it's absolutely incredible. And then we are pairing that at the top end with the 6-drop Liliana as well as the 6-mana Garruk the Huntsman. So these cards are incredibly powerful Planeswalkers. Our early game is all revolving around early interaction and cards that can keep us alive. Let's see what we want to do. Let's go ahead. We're just trying to smooth out our draws, playing for the 5-drop slot. We're playing a lot of interaction in the early game to keep the board clear while we set up our giant Planeswalker threats. This card is really fun to build around assembling the Titans. Planeswalkers are just incredibly fun to play in my opinion anyway, and so I've been having a bunch of fun working on this deck, and I'm excited to show you where we've ended up as we get into this first game against Spirits. What we love to see here is we're getting a lot of early clear board. We are definitely a late game heavy hitting deck. We struggle against aggro, so we like seeing a nice clear board like we have so far, and I'm very happy with everything that's going on. So removal will be a little trickier once they start getting their Rattle Chains out, but we're just one turn away from getting down our lovely Assemble the Titans. We have 4 Godless Shrines. What a crazy start to the deck. We obviously are also playing green, but we have not hit that yet. So I think I'm interested in popping out this Brutal Cathar. We're just going to go ahead and bait out this Rattle Chains here. And they're actually going to get a counterspell, which is totally fine because we want to play our big 5-drop next turn, which will be pretty important for us. So let's see what we can find here. Game 1 against Alligator Hater on the ladder in Arena in Explorer. So they get down a Combat Research, new card I'm not familiar with. It looks like it's basically another copy of the Curious Obsession, but it says enchanted creature has, when it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card as long as it's legendary, gets +1/+1, and has word 1. Great card. Pairs super nicely with the Curious Obsession that we just saw. They do have a bunch of mana up, so we're going to have to hope that we get lucky and are able to get down this Titan Assembler. But they may have a counterspell, but I'm hoping that this one card is not a counterspell. So let's see if we can get lucky. Now, we want to read ahead quite a lot. Oh, man, that is pretty brutal. Luckily, we are going to get down our Liliana, so that will be nice next turn. It will hopefully be able to draw us a card, and we actually are going to get to make them sacrifice 2 creatures, which if they don't play anything here, could be huge. Supreme Phantom also pretty tough to deal with, but making them sack 2 I think is going to be quite good. And then they'll probably just hold on to this Rattle Change, which will deal for 2, which would kill the Liliana. So this is a tough choice. I don't exactly know what my play is here. For sure we have to play Liliana. We are looking a little bit rough now that they had the perfect counter magic. If we could have played Urza Assembles the Titans, I think we would have gotten out of this game. But now I'm a little bit worried because we don't have any great plays. Shacklegeist. This is feeling like a loss. They got a little bit lucky and drew what they needed at the end. So if we -4, they for sure keep the Rattle Chains, and they probably keep a Supreme Phantom. But even if we make a zombie, they just fly in and crush Liliana easily. So let's do sack 2 creatures and hope for the best. But doesn't seem like a great start for the deck. So as we get into game 2, I will pop up the deck list for you guys so you can see that. And then we'll also hopefully get a better showing of the deck as well. So they're going to come in for 4. Not impossible that we work our way out of this. Especially if they put some heat on Liliana. Obviously, we would love for her to live, but they might want to get aggressive, which could be in our favor. Now, they do need to deal combat damage to us as a player with the Rattle Chains. Okay, this is what I was hoping for. This is probably our best shot at working our way out of this, but it's not looking great. Okay, there is our Forest. They've got 4 damage coming at us. I think we've just lost, right? They've got 2 flyers. We don't have a way to play another land because we didn't hit green. We had a really unfortunate start here, to be perfectly honest. All we can do is create a zombie, and then they get to swing in for 4 for the win. As I said, let's check out that deck list and see if we can get a better showing of the deck in Game 2. So we've got a much better start here in Game 2. We've got all our colors, great early interaction. As you can see, the deck list is on the side of the screen here for you. If this is our first time meeting, my name is Blake, and I play exclusively Explorer content here on the channel. We're going up against a pretty scary looking red deck. Let's take the early drops and get rid of that Bone Crusher. But as I said, I'm Blake. I play Explorer content here on YouTube a couple times a week. If you are enjoying this video, consider subscribing. It really helps out the channel a lot. Current goal is to get to 500 subscribers so that I can get that community tab. But without any more commercials, let's keep getting into this game against Mono Red Potential Treasures with Zorn, or Xorn. Let me know how you should say that. I would certainly guess that they're going for a full-on treasure build, but also the Embercleave is extremely scary. If they slap that thing on a Goldspan Dragon, I am going to be scared. So Zorn's going to come down here. Okay, it's a Magda deck. This is making a lot of sense now. Let's go ahead and test the trade. I'm sure that's a no. Okay, that makes sense. And then before they get a chance to tap it, let's just Fatal Push, not let them get a whole bunch of treasures going. If I can hit a white source land right now, that's going to be a great showing of the deck. We'll see. My land base for this deck as a mostly budget player is not very good. I guess this will kind of help, actually. So this is Vraska, one of our Planeswalkers. +2, sacrifice another permanent if you do gain 1 life and draw a card. Or you can -3 to destroy something. I do think we want to +2 her. You are allowed to sacrifice lands, but I think actually getting rid of this Enforcer, which makes a Spirit, which is a lovely blocker for us, is fine. Gets this up to 6, puts a big threat on there, and then that can hit the Goldspan Dragon if it comes down next turn. Well, it's going to get to come in for a lot of damage, but we're still doing okay, I think. Looking for a white source mostly. Also, we see here Garruk, the Cursed Huntsman, our other Planeswalker, which makes wolves, which pairs super well with the 6-mana Liliana. That's why those two are our top end. So that's quite nice. Yes, please ignore the Spirit and let Vraska stay as a 6-drop. That would be perfect. Now, I've got a dilemma here. I actually think I let the Goldspan Dragon knock this down to 2. This is kind of just buying us time, is basically Vraska's whole purpose. She'll stay alive. We'll sacrifice the Spirit to draw a card to set up our 5-drop next turn. I think that is our play. I maybe should have left it and then... See, Vraska can only destroy things mana value 3 or less, so she actually cannot get the Goldspan Dragon. So, less valuable because of that. Now, I wasn't thinking about the Embercleave with the treasure, so either way, the Spirit would have gotten the KO for them. And this might just be looking like another beatdown. This really sucks. So let's just go ahead, and I guess we gotta go for the Goldspan Dragon KO. We'll do this. And now we're kind of just praying for the best. They're going to put an Embercleave on a Zorn, which is going to do a lot of work against us. Ooh boy, this is not looking good for us, team. I really got to get the land-based fix for this. I have so many these are not the colors that I typically play. We're going to take 8, and we're getting slapped around. Brutal. Brutal. Godless Shrine. This would allow us to play the Titan, but... Okay, I think we do this, and then we do this. We're going to read ahead to phase 2 so that we can get Garruk out here. And then Garruk can destroy Zorn, drawing us a card, getting us back into the game, really hoping for the best here. Now, we can create 4 wolves next turn with the 3rd part of Urza, so that's pretty great. Of course, he hits a flying hasty boy dragon that's going to kill us. Sometimes it do be like that on the top deck. But let's see if this deck's got any more potential. And as you're seeing me get my butt kicked, let me know what you would do to improve this list as we go into game number 3. Let me know. So So this YouTube channel is very good for my ego because it just proves to me time and time again that I'm not a good deck builder. So we're getting our butts kicked, and I'm trying to work around this new card, but my decks that I build are rarely actually good. Now, once in a while, you hit some gold, and I must admit that my land base is holding me back. I think it needs an adjustment, but even so, it's hard to build good decks. So if you're a good deck builder, let me know about that. Let me know what that experience is like and how that feels. But now we're jumping into another game. We see black and white in a Field of Ruin. Probably playing Esper Control, I would guess. This Field of Ruin is in the list that I have been running for Esper Control. Finally hit our black mana source. That's great. Let's throw down an Orzhov Enforcer. This is a card, not very good, but I am testing it just as an early kind of scorpion type effect. I can't, there's a word I'm trying to, a rattlesnake. This is my rattlesnake. So it's just a 2-drop that is hard to swing into. I think it's kind of fine. We're playing against probably not Esper Control, probably Doom Foretold, because they're going to want to get everybody sacrificing things. So let's see if we can hit land number 5. I'd love to play an Urza Assembles the Titans on curve. Another way I would potentially be building this deck. Okay, sick. We're going to get to do it. So this is pretty awesome. We're going to come in, scry 4, look for a Planeswalker. Heck yes. And then we can reveal the top. So let's also set up our next draws. We don't really need land number 5. Fatal Push is fine. Let's see. Or we don't really need land number 6. So we can go down there. Drawing a Fatal Push still seems pretty solid. So let's do it like that. And then, yes, we were revealed. Put that in our hand. And then next turn, we get to play that for free. We'll just hold back. But I think I was saying something, but now I've forgotten. So they're playing Doom Foretold. So they're going to try to get us to sack a bunch of stuff. So I think I want to keep this Enforcer around because that's 2 sacrifice outlets. So that's pretty fantastic. So actually, as I'm thinking about it, this Enforcer should have stayed on top. If I would have taken another minute to think about it, I could have done better. Also, they've got some discard shenanigans. So we're going to put out Garruk. Pretty awesome. So let's create 2 wolves, and when they die, they get to do fun things. And then this can hit only a creature. So let's go ahead and get this down now. I don't think they're going to play a lot of creatures, but we at least can get rid of the fodder. And then now that this is safe, let's go ahead and get our ping damage in. I think we've got a solid matchup here. If they start playing Doom Foretold, they're going to start sacking these things, but we're going to have a ton of tokens to sack as well. So I think our fodder will completely outstrip them. So if you're not familiar, Doom Foretold says at the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices a non-land, non-token permanent. If that player can't, they discard a lot. They discard a card, they lose 2. They discard a card, lose 2 life. You draw a card, gain 2 life, and create a 2/2 white knight creature token with vigilance. Then sacrifice Doom Foretold. So we are going to sacrifice, as I said. Okay, so it is non-tokens. So that is, Garruk is less good than I thought, but that's still okay. We've still got the Cathar, which we're kind of fine to toss away at this point. We've got a good chunk of damage coming in. We're going to create even more wolves, so those are putting on a lot of pressure. We could also... Let's see, non-token, non-land permanent. We could also just toss the Wanderer, would be actually kind of fine. So they also have to sacrifice a non-land, non-token permanent. And then if they can't, they get rid of Doom Foretold. So, pretty interesting card. It was a whole archetype when it came out in Throne. Oh, that is really sad. Good for you. Yeah, go ahead. Now that's kind of good, though, because our Garruk's going to get huge. That's pretty fun. Sacrifice the Emperor, as I said. Now that's a tragedy, because we don't have any more things to do. They have got a lot of Doom Foretolds. Let's get rid of Borrowed Time. That can hit our Planeswalkers. Since we're going to have to sacrifice this, let's go ahead and get our value and get our emblem with creatures have +3/+3, and trample. So we are now, I don't even know what our play is. We need to play out a couple creatures. These are going to be pretty bad. Weird matchup here. This is interesting. Oath of Kaya. Okay. So he deals that.
You reap what you sow.
But he's going to have to sacrifice Doom Foretold. We sack 2 things. We'll get rid of our 2 fatal pushes. Yeah, this is weird. I don't know how they end up winning here. I guess their knights are going to do some work, huh? Okay, this is pretty good. We get to draw this to draw us another card, but we're going to have to discard, so that kind of sucks. So I guess let's set up another one. A Thoughtseize is also not terrible. Get rid of their thing. Get rid of their other Doom Foretold. Let's see. Let's read Doom Foretold. They discard a card, so they're going to play a Doom Foretold next turn, which is going to make us discard a card. So we actually don't want to draw a Planeswalker anyway. I think we go for a Thoughtseize to make them discard the other Doom Foretold. And then I think that's good. I think this is a good play. So they're going to play this, and then on our upkeep, we have to sack this. I guess we wouldn't have sacrificed because this isn't going to die just yet. But I still think this is a pretty solid play. We're going to hit this one, and we're going to at least have some time. We do take 2 damage, so maybe I could have hunted for a Planeswalker, but that's still pretty risky. It's just going to be cutting it close. The deck really likes to play like this. It's kind of just like you have a little more going on than they do. The deck is going well, and we're about to go 0-3. Super fun day. 0-3, but that's okay. I am having fun. Even when you lose, but you're playing Magic, a day playing Magic's better when losing than a lot of other things when winning, in my opinion. But it actually just looks like we're taking the L, right? Because they've got the damage coming. Let's see what we would have found. We would have found a Garruk. But now they got the 4 damage, so good for them. Let's go to game 4, see if we can ever catch a win. Alright, for this opener, I am taking a bit of a risk. We kept a 2-lander on the draw, but double Thoughtseize is a little risky, but can also do a lot of work for us. What do we do here? Let's toss. I don't really want to discard that many cards, do I? Or do I care? I guess I don't really care that much about getting rid of these enforcers. Kalane doesn't have anything else at the moment that actually makes treasures. Do we force him to play Kroxa, which gives them no board presence? Let's hit Kalane for now. We'll plan to discard these 2 enforcers. I think that's okay. Let me know what you would have done if you're still watching. About 10% of my people that watch these videos actually finish, so if you're still here, you're 1 out of 10, and you are a dear friend to me. I greatly appreciate you, my friend. Greatly appreciate you hanging out with me. I like that. That helps us get whatever he wants to throw down. We are going to play pretty risky here. Let's do this again. I don't actually hate seeing a Kroxa. Visionary replaces itself, which is annoying, but Binding of the Old Gods kind of messes with everything I do, so we're actually going to toss that because I really want to keep this around to actually get to do all 3 parts of the saga. So I'm going to let them have the Visionary here. As I mentioned, Kroxa trading for an Enforcer doesn't bother me. We can Brutal Cathar this, slightly risky play. Do I even Brutal Cathar this? It's not doing that much. And then if Cathar does die, I guess to come in and draw a card. I think I'm going to leave it. I want to discard this. We do need another white. The land base. Oh, I got to get me some better lands. Need to play some more of this Dominaria United to at least get the pain lands. I've got most of the shocks, but these colors that I don't play much, I don't have much of the shocks, and I don't really have anything else like collections solved or collected, so that's really not good. Okay, hitting the plan now. They are close to a reanimation target in the grave there, so that's unfortunate. Love seeing this white. Now I think I am kind of forced into doing this just for the sake of tempo. They can have the card draw back. We're going to hit a turn 5 a symbol, so I'm hoping that will be enough. Massacre, yeah, that's good for them, but I think That's fine. They get to draw another card. That's what I was worried about. That is a lot of value for them. But I think if we can let this stick around, if we can draw a nice big juicy Planeswalker on top, putting that down for free just isn't that great. It can at least get rid of the Crocs if it comes back. Do we want a Fatal Push? Not really. I guess Fatal Push also hits a Croxa. We'll keep it. And this can hit a Croxa. Is that good enough? Do I even just toss the Wanderer here? They still need 2 more cards to go to the graveyard. Let's just keep a Fatal Push. Or do I even just go all out digging for the Planeswalker? Let's just keep a Fatal Push. Be sad about it. I don't know if that was the right play or not. Don't know if that was the right play or not, my friends. Let's see. It seems like they're doing well for themselves. Yeah, I'm just not that impressed. My deck just needs changed. Oh, I remember what I was going to say earlier. Potentially this should be in more of a ramp deck. Now, there are probably just completely other color combos you should be playing this with. But potentially, at least if you're going to try this Abzan build, the early game should not be built around controlling or mid-range cards. Maybe it should just be like a heavy... Maybe it should just be a heavy ramp show. So that you're hitting this on turn 4 pretty average, pretty consistently. Play things like Paradise Druid to hit that white mana for you. That could be really well done, I think. Now, we're going to take about 6. And I don't want to take 6. And I don't want them making treasures. This just feels like another L. This is a terrible showing. This is a terrible, terrible, terrible showing. And he gets to discard 2, reanimate the Crocs if he wants, which is just going to suck. Another Crocs that goes to the graveyard. Yeah, this deck just needs modification. It really does. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to keep sticking it out. I'm going to learn my lessons. I'm going to try to learn why it's not good. First step, Orzhov Enforcer is not a real card people play. Probably shouldn't have played it. Thoughtseize maybe just doesn't pair well with such a late game deck, so maybe that was a reason. I think Brutal Cathar is fine. It's a good value card I think you can play. I'm wondering if Thoughtseize doesn't go in a deck with this many. Let's do this. Let's get rid of this so it doesn't put anything in the graveyard. I'm wondering if Thoughtseize just likes staying a little lower to the curve. Normally the Rakdos decks it goes in are really more like top out at 4, maybe 5. So maybe this is just a little too high in to actually get the value. And then it's also like the way I have the deck built now, you play the Thoughtseize, take 2, and then you normally don't have any plays on turn 2. So I think early game is a little weak right now. Either not enough creatures to put out interaction, or just not enough removal. Heartless Act is obviously good when you pull it. But yeah, the deck just struggles a little bit. Also, it might just need more Planeswalkers. I really wish I had like 3 copies of Wandering Emperor. Right now there's just 1 in here. And I definitely think that's kind of hurting the deck. So Croxa comes in, and we get to kill it. So that was smart. This was a good play. But we're so close to death. There's just no way that we get out of this, right? No way. We do get to do a double activation.
Your corpse will make a nice souvenir.
Let's kill the Fable.
People, creatures, they vanish.
And we're still just dead. Dang. Another L. My goodness. This just sucks. Let's keep going. Okay, if there was a game for this deck to go off, it's this one. We've got all colors assembled. We've got 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop. We actually just hit another land, which I'm extremely excited about. We're not on the play, which I think would be slightly better, but I think we're going to have enough stuff to do that we might have some good things. So, let's go ahead and put down another one of these. Let's put down the Enforcer, get us a nice little blocking action going here. Feeling great about that. Now, the one thing, my land base is killing me. I keep saying it, but this deck would have a lot more potential with land base, but double white, again. Double white on turn 5 somehow is apparently not doable. So let's see. He's going to slap down the old Bone Crushy Gigantor. And we are going to play our Tireless Tracker, which can trade with it. I am interested in trading with it, unless we get a double white, in which case I could actually play a Wandering Emperor. Once again, double white is crushing me. I think we just take the trade. We're buying time. Or I could Fatal Push it after the Spirit dies. It's an interesting choice. This does draw me cards. I think I want this to live. He might just kill it anyway. But I want this to live to give me some clues. That's a nice card. Fable, very nice card. There we go. Love to see that. Let's do this. Make a clue. We've got to Fatal Push. Let's go ahead and hit this little nerd right now. I think we're right. Now that I've got my clue activatable, we've gotten one clue so that this can replace itself. I'm willing to trade now. I don't want to go down to 10. It's a little rough going down to 10. But at minimum, we get to put out the Wandering Emperor for free if we don't hit a Titan with Urzas. So that's nifty. Nifty. Might be better not to do that, though. I really want to scry and hit one of the big boys, Liliana or Garruk. Really, really do. This is our game. It's game 5. We're due for a win, okay? We're due for a win, guys. I'm telling you. Sack the clue. Draw the card. Add the counter. Do they kill it now? Dang it. Should have just blocked. I can't do that. That does nothing for me. That was not good, guys. That was not good. That was not good at all. I think now we've got to go for the Wandering Emperor play. Exile this stupid thing. They've got a lot of mana and a lot of cards to mess with us. We've got good cards, too. We just get behind every game. This deck does not get ahead, ever. Literally ever. Let's try it. Come on, Wandering Emperor. Who are you? Do not die.
I've learned much during my travels.
Good. Gaining 2 life, also clutch. That is excellent. Getting a counter on this thing, also kind of good. Getting this to a 2-2. Now, if they do kill this, I can Fatal Push this as well. Not a bad play. I'm ready to assemble those Titans, guys. Let's assemble them. Come on. That's bad. We'll get to Fatal Push the Vampire he makes, so that's good. Okay, this is good. We get to kill this for sure.
You can deal with my
I think we're creeping ahead. Ooh, guys, yes. Is that worth it? Do we even scry to draw, or do we just slap this thing down? Each player sacks 2 creatures. That's not a bad play. I think that's our play. I think if we have the 6-drop in hand, you slap this down, you're planning on a double activation coming down later. So we put Liliana in. Before we do anything, we add a counter here. Next, I'll attack. We take out Sorin. Boom, I'm loving it. And then, I don't want to make any copies of anything. Each player sacks 2 creatures. We clear the board. We've got 2 Planeswalkers out. Next turn, they get double activations, and we're going off. Come on, stick around. All 3 of these permanents stick around, and we are doing something. Wow, this deck is fun if it works. I bet someone's going to build a real deck around this. It might not be top tier. We were this close to doing real things, guys. It's fine. We get to make a token and put a counter on. It's kind of neat, I suppose. I guess we'll put this in. Huh, man, it's so close to being awesome. Jeez, guys, come on. Okay. Also, card draw, a little wimpy. We end up in a section like this all the time. It's a little unfortunate. That's annoying. It just does so much value, guys. It's just so much value. Luckily, this has Vigilance. Let's just Heartless Act this now. Clear the way. Take our 2. Okay, what do we got? That's good. That is good.
I do hope you make a
And we get the win. Finally, we're going to pop off. The deck actually can work, potentially sometimes. I'm going to see if I have a few lands to tweak, just a couple more duels in there, and then we'll see if we can improve the deck's win rate just a touch. Let's keep going. Okay, so I was able to add 6 more dual lands, which will hopefully help us out. So they were all kind of like this. They intertapped unless some condition. I have 1 copy. So I had 1 of these unless you control 2 or more other lands for each color, and then I had 1 of each of the enters unless you have a plains or forest, 1 for each color. So hopefully that helps us. So we want to get more lands out. Do I need to kill that? Probably not. I think we Thoughtseize first here. See what they're doing. We're playing against Rakdos. What's a bigger deal? These are all tough targets. What's the worst? Ob Nixilis is pretty fantastico. Let's get rid of Ob. I think this deck will probably crush us. This is the best Explorer deck, in my opinion. I don't think anything else beats it. It's just really, really good. Now, I think we want to put up mana for the Heartless Act. So we're going to take that damage. We're going to hit double white turn 5, guaranteed. So they are going to be pretty slow. There's no artifacts out there yet. So as long as he doesn't sacrifice an artifact, we've got a minute. Okay, that's good. We're going to Heartless Act this. I think we might buy time. If we would have gone first, it would have been a lot better for this matchup, too. It would have been a lot better. Okay. Temple Garden. Yeah, we don't need any more. We can just start putting in some of these tapped for a moment. We're literally just trying to hang on, guys. Okay, if we can hang on, we've got a Fatal Push. Not going to be amazing. I think... Oh, man, this is going to be a tough matchup. This looks like a legit Rakdos deck, which is fantastic. And we're playing this piece of junk deck out of my brain. See if we can do it. See if we can do it. We're also on the draw. Feels like we've been on the draw a lot, but it could just be me because I've been losing. I think this deck wants to be on the play just because it's slow. Needs that extra turn. They might have left. We really messed with them. I think getting rid of Ob and then killing this was pretty fantastico. So our early interaction was great. And they might have left. I'm going to make a cut. If they don't come back or whatever happens, I'll let you know. Cut! So our last opponent did time out. We're going to chalk that up as a win. I think we made enough early plays that we actually did have a really good shot at winning. We also were going to set up that turn 5. Urza assembles the Titans. Kept a little bit of a risky one here. We need to keep a forest or a swamp. Kept a little bit of a risky one here. Kept a 2-lander. But lots of early interaction that made me feel good enough about it. I mean, we've got 4 removal spells to get us into this first Titan, so I think that feels pretty good. And I think we're going to be okay. Love seeing this Tireless Tracker start getting us a little card advantage. Looks like we're playing against control. So let's go ahead and drop down this Tracker, see if they're interested in starting some counter spells. They're not. Interesting. No timer either, so they must not have much to do in hand, I guess. A little confused by that, but I think this deck will struggle a lot against Esper control if that's what we're playing. Not a lot of Planeswalker interaction. This card's fun, though. I have a 1 of this. Put it in because it's Planeswalker. As long as it's our turn, it's a 4/4 human soldier with indestructible. We can give some lifelink to some guys here. Let's do this. This sounds fun. Let's investigate. Let's try to get down Blackblade. If he resolves, that's going to be a lot of fun. But I would also love to bait out a counterspell. Lovely. I'll take it so that we can potentially save our Urza assembles them Titans. We need 1 more land. Would love to hit that land. They're going to play very control-y, though, so we're in a bit of trouble. They do need to get rid of this Tireless Tracker first, though. let's go ahead and see if we can swing. I want to sack this clue now. I want to find land number 5. I'm looking for it. Also, we'll get in a little more ship damage this way. They might want to bounce it, though. Or hit it now with like a March of Otherworldly Light. Okay, they're not interested in that. We have 4 Heartless Act in hands. The card that cannot hit Planeswalkers. So that's a tragedy. And I'm guessing they're going to play no creatures. This is going to be rough. We're drawing the half of the deck that cannot interact. So maybe this also is a consideration of why this deck is not currently competitively playable. Maybe that's why people don't run so many Heartless Acts. But we'll see. We'll see. Our Planeswalkers need to beat out their Planeswalkers for sure. Heartless Act would be cooler if it could just remove counters from a permanent. That would be sick. You could kill a Planeswalker with it. That would be really fun. I think that's a card they should build sometime. And as we suspected, there is Teferi, the hero of Dominaria. And probably the card that beats us.
You need to slow down.
Probably the card that beats us. Okay. We're going to try it. If we don't get this down, I think we just concede. Okay, it comes down. And we are just straight up digging for a Planeswalker. Hoping for the best. That is not a Planeswalker. So that just feels like an L. That's a huge, huge whiff. There's just too much value and nothing we can interact with. I'm going to give it to him. I'm moving on. Moving on. Once again, we've got what I think is a pretty decent start as we hit all of our colors here. We've got that early interaction that I mentioned we like. Tireless Tracker coming down turn 3, I think will feel pretty good. Double Vraska will be interesting to see how that goes. Vraska pairs really nicely with Liliana as a way to have some sack outlets to draw cards, so I'm hoping that that will work out. Elvish Warmaster, I'm extremely afraid of. So we're going to get rid of that right away, and I love seeing the Cathar here, actually. I think is a perfect response. This looks like Golgari Elves. Deck I'm a big fan of just for fun's sake. I don't think it's amazing, but I think it's B-tier fun. And it's got a new Elf Lord in there that you guys might be familiar with out of Dominaria United. So it's definitely one that I want to bring back on the channel. It has been on the channel before, but not since Dominaria United has given us another piece to potentially buff it. But I respect it, but I don't think it has a ton of removal usually because you want to jam so many elves in there. But we'll see. This is the new one I was talking about. Elf Crowned Visionary. It gives all elves +1/+1. And then when you cast an elf spell, importantly, you may pay green to draw a card. So that is also very good. Now this is unfortunate that we're missing lands. Let's see if they're interested in a trade. They're probably not. And then we've got some choices here. Do we put down the tracker and potentially let them draw cards? They don't have much mana to work with. Could also Thoughtseize. I think I like just holding up the Heartless Act. Actually, let's just do the Heartless Act now. I think that's our best bet. We're really just buying time. We want to keep them low on cards in hand. 4 mana is a big inflection for them. Dang, that's bad. This, luckily, isn't great until they get a bunch of mana out. But us missing that land drop was pretty sad. Now, this one is what? Yeah, that's really good. Really good. Okay, this is probably going to go too wide for us to beat. And it's just one more weakness of this Urza Planeswalker deck, as we're seeing. Let's drop this. Get our 3/2, drop this, make our land. We could come back, maybe, if we can put out like a Garruk and get just a big, wide board of tokens. These are all crazy. These are all good. Let's get rid of Finale. Seems really good. Okay, I like sacking this clue to draw a card and gain a life. Going so wide, though. That's nice. It's very nice. Can't take that trade. We'll let that happen. We also could kill something. It's not bad. I think that's pretty good. think doing this to get rid of the War Master is worth it. Because if they're ever able to pump it up, they win.
Step out of the shadows.
We're close to a Liliana as well, which creating a black zombie is pretty solid. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. We had to get those out of hand anyway. Now this can block and trade, but they probably just send the house and win anyway. Even if we block that, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9 damage. Yeah, they win. Good game. That'll do it. Well, thank you for watching this terrible gameplay of a deck I tried, but I did have a lot of fun, and I do play a lot of actual meta decks on the channel. If you're looking for more gameplay, check out that video over there of me playing some other deck that YouTube thinks you'll like. And thank you so much, my friend, for joining me. I hope you have a fantastic day. This has been Urza, assembling the losses. I'm Blake. Catch you later.